Okay, here we are on page 5. Plot the graphs of y equals f of x and y equals g of x for the following pairs of functions and find the coordinates of the point where each pair intersect. Okay, so let's start out with f of x and g of x for a. We're going to do that in this grid here. Let's type these into the y equals screen. And I will start doing that, and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so I've typed f of x into y1, and I've typed g of x into y2, and then I'm going to graph it just to see about what they look like. So that must be f of x, and that must be g of x. I know the curved one is f of x because this has a fifth power. I know that the other one is linear because it's a line here, and this one is basically in the form mx plus c, right? So I have these here, and I'm going to graph them. The easiest way to graph them is not to copy the picture, but to look at the table. And I'm going to go, let's see, I'm going to graph from like -5 to 5. So I'll draw my axes in red, and then I'll draw one of my functions in blue. So I'll draw the curve in blue. So I'm going to be looking at the x column and the y1 column. Those give me f of x. So basically it's mostly off the screen, but there's going to be -1, -1. There's going to be 0, 0. And there's going to be 1, 1. And then it goes off the screen. Something like that. Okay, and then the y2 is the g of x function, and so I'm going to do that in green. So I got -3, 6, it's off the screen, -2, 5, -1, 4, 0, 3, 1, 2, and 2, 1, and 3, 0, etc. Okay, so this is the line. So that is G, and the other one was F, right? And then we want to know the point where they intersect, which is going to be this point right here. It's going to be about 1.5, 1.5. But if I want to find out exactly, I would use the second calc intersect function. Hit enter 3 times, and the coordinate of the intersection is 1.18, 1.82. Okay. 1.18, yes. All right, and then let's do B. And B we're going to put down here in this other grid. Okay, so I'm going to type these into the y equals screen, and then I'll be right back. Different, right? X to the -2. If you want to type x to the -2, you hit circumflex. So -2, use this negative, not this minus sign. And then +4. And the g function is just 6. Let's graph that and see kind of what it looks like. So that must be f of x because it's curved, and g of x is just a straight line. So g of x, it looks like it's all positive. So I'm going to make the x and the y-axis in red. And then the curve is going to be in blue. Let me get some points from the curve by doing a second table. And for example, -3, 4. Oops. -3, 4.2 would be about there. -2, 4.5. -1, 6. Okay, so, and then if I want to go back, get a couple more points, -5, 4. So basically it looks kind of like this. And then on the other side, oh, -1, 6, yeah. And then the other side is 1, 6, 2, 4.5, 3, 4.2. Can you guys hear the dogs that have moved in? 4, 1.25. Okay, there we go. That is the curve F, and then the straight line g of x equals 6 is a horizontal line at 6. So the two intersects look like -1, 6 and 1, 6, at least from looking at this picture. And just to confirm, I'm going to do, well, I mean, we can see it here, right? 1, 6, 1, 6, then there's an intersect there. And -1, 6, -1, 6, right? But if you wanted to use second calc intersect, you just do second calc intersect, and then you hit enter 3 times. Okay. So I do second calc intersect, which is number 5. First curve is f of x, yes. Oops. I'm hitting enter, but nothing's happening because, do you see how there's an asymptote right here? Like the blue curve doesn't touch the y-axis. To make it touch, we need to either hit a little bit to the left or a little bit right, get a valid point here. Okay, once we do that, then we hit enter. Second curve is the horizontal line 6, yes. And then the guess can be any number. And so it gives us -1, 6 as one of the points, and then we repeat it. And when we repeat it, we are going to put the cursor slightly to the right when we do the guess, like that. Then we hit enter, and then we get 1, 6. So everything's fine, right? Exactly what we expected. Now let's do number 4. A company's profits in dollars are multiplied by this equation, where x is the number of units sold each week. Find the number of units sold to make a profit of $300 per week. It does not ask us to graph it, so all we're going to do is type it into the y equals screen, and I'll do that offline, and I'll be right back. So here it is, -0.9x squared plus 52x minus 360, and then we graph, and then we want to find the number of units sold to make a profit of $300 a week. Now, we can't really see this graph right now, but if we do zoom fit, I'm sure we can. And what we need to do is we need to find out when this function is equal to 300. And whoa. So let's adjust the y equals by using window. Let's change the y. We don't care about negative profit, so we'll change that to the minimum to 0, and we'll change the maximum to like 400. And then we'll graph. And then, oh, there it is. And looks like 400 is way up here, so we need to go even farther to the right. We could draw a horizontal line at 400 to see where it is. So I'm going to put a second function, y2, 400, and then there it is. So we want to see when this curve hits that. We need to go farther to the right, so I'm going to change my window so that it has 100 here. Oh, there we go. Okay. And, oh, actually the profit that desired is 300, not 400. $300. Okay. Now we'll see the profit line crossing at 2 different points. And so normally we want the first point, but we could find both just to be complete. So how do we find those points? We do second calc intersect like we did before. And first it's going to find the right one because our cursor was closer to the right. So that would be, the right one would be 38.95 comma 300. And the left one, second calc intersect number 5. Enter first curve, second curve, and then we move the cursor over closer to the left intersect, and that gives us the left intersect. The left intersect is 18.8 comma 300. So basically, we have 2 number of units sold each week that gives us a profit of 300. There's this, and there's this, and number of units sold to make a profit of $300. So it's halfway between 18 and 19, or it's between 18 and 19. 18 would not quite give you $300 of profit, so we would definitely change that to 19, an integer answer, because the number of products sold, the number of units sold is not going to be a fraction, okay? And 19 is the first number which gives the units sold that give $300 of profit, so I think the answer is 19 and don't even consider anything with 38.95. Okay? Let's go to the next problem. 9J. This is a new topic when we talk about they'll use the phrase varies directly or varies inversely, and basically what that means is if they say varies directly, that means as the independent variable goes up, the dependent variable also goes up proportionally. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that with this first problem. The price of a taxi fare, P, varies directly with the number of kilometers N traveled. So what you would do then is you would say, okay, P varies directly with N. Alpha, Greek letter alpha, is a way to represent the fact that P and N are related proportionally. So when N goes up, P goes up, okay? And that's how you write it when you don't know the relationship. Now, we can also write it with an equal sign by saying P is equal to some unknown constant factor times N. So now we know that we can find P from N by multiplying it by a certain constant K, and that K value is always the same. Oh my gosh, the dogs are very excited about varies directly. Okay, so they give us an example of N equals 12 and K equals 21 as like 2 possible pairs which can give us K. That's not K. That's not K. It's P. Okay, so if I put in 21 and 12 here, and I can find out what K is, okay, because I know that 12 and 21 go together. So if I want to know what K is, it's going to be 21 over 12. Okay, that's my K value. So then an equation which connects P and N is this equation, except now we're going to fill in the K value, which we know. Okay, so this is the equation connecting P and N. Hence, find the fare for traveling 40 kilometers. Hence is an IB exam word, which means, oh, now use this previous answer to find the new answer. And the new answer is find the fare, find the amount you pay for traveling 40 kilometers. So that would be P equals 21 over 12 times 40. So that would be P equals, let's use the calculator, 21 times 40 divided by 12. Okay, $70. $70. All right, that's it for this page.